Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is calling on his state's Emergency Management Division to investigate what he calls the federal government's targeted discrimination toward Floridians who support Donald Trump. This comes after the Federal Emergency Management Agency confirmed that a supervisor told relief workers responding to Florida after Hurricane Milton to, quote, avoid homes with signs in support of the now president-elect. That person also reportedly put out a memo telling workers to stay together, follow the rules, and practice of de-escalation tactics. FEMA employees told news outlets at least 20 different homes with Trump signs or flags were passed after the storm because of the order. A FEMA spokesperson says the supervisor is no longer working in Florida.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Opinions Vary, Opinions with an A. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we have to go over this story with a very disturbing story that has an employee from FEMA basically telling their employees during the hurricane responses in Florida and who knows where else, because I think this goes deeper than just one person in one state, but time will tell, to ignore houses with Trump signs on them for people who were wiped out by the hurricane. So let's just get into this and we'll comment along the way. As I said, it's pretty disturbing. And it leads to, I think, a culture problem right now in the federal government. So let's get into this.
I want first to get your reaction when you heard this news about FEMA and avoiding what appears to be some 20 homes in Florida.
Well, to say that I was surprised would be a lie. I don't necessarily want to demean or demonize every FEMA employee or worker that's out there. I think there are a lot of them that have a good heart that want to help people. The question that it leads me to is to ask the question of what sort of culture has been established in order for, FEMA personnel on the ground, or leadership for that matter, to provide this sort of instruction to FEMA personnel that want to provide help. And more so, I had an interaction with local FEMA officials as well, and they wanted to help people. And what was the interesting thing is it was stated that, hey, we can't have our fingerprints on this, which I think it leads back to the actual question, which is what sort of culture and what sort of fear is there in place at some of the lower levels of FEMA personnel where they're afraid they're going to lose their job if they don't speak up against actions that are blatantly not aligned with what the organization is supposed to be doing.
Okay, so what he said is exactly right. There is a culture problem. And this needs to be investigated thoroughly, because I was in law enforcement for 25 years. And anytime somebody did something untoward or, corrupt, or even perceived to be corrupt, or use of force that was excessive, the entire profession was demonized. Now, I don't want to see that happen to everybody at FEMA. But there were investigations into culture. And in some cases, yes, there was a culture within, say, a police department that got out of control. Now, that has to be discovered here. And under the Biden administration, we've seen where there were people targeted. This actually all started under the Barack Obama administration, when Tea Party people were targeted by the IRS. And then under Obama's third term of Biden, it really ramped up into high gear with Merrick Garland, with the school board meetings, with censorship just going into overdrive. So this culture is pervasive, I believe, in FEMA, in the FBI, in the CIA, in all the alphabet agencies. And it needs to be rooted out, and needs to be rooted out quickly by the Donald Trump administration now. We have one shot at this, and it needs to get done. So it's disgusting. I don't believe it's just one person. I don't think it's one supervisor. I think that supervisor that we know about, should be charged criminally. I'm sure there's an official misconduct charge that could be brought. This person needs to see jail time. Now, the people that, quote unquote, took the orders and abided by those unlawful orders also need to be investigated, because I wouldn't get away with that as a police officer saying, oh, it was an order. No, you don't just take orders. Orders have to be lawful orders. So they need to answer for that. And I'm not saying they should be thrown in jail, but I don't think they should be working for FEMA. I don't think they should be ever hired for a government job ever again. Because if you can take an order like that from somebody, where is your moral compass? You are staring at devastation of American citizens, and somebody tells you they have a Trump sign or if it was the reverse. If somebody said it's a Harris or a Wall sign and you said, yeah, okay, I'm not going to go to that house because I don't like Harris and Walls, I think you should be fired and possibly criminally charged too. You don't get to make your decisions when you take a public service job based on someone's political affiliation, their race, their religion, anything. You are there to do a job for that citizen, regardless of your personal beliefs, their their anything. When we get a 911 call, we don't hey, on the radio say, what's the person's race, Central, before I respond? No, never happened ever once. You got the call, you responded, you did your job. That's the end of the story. So for this to have happened, like that gentleman said, I'm not surprised either, especially under this administration. And if this had happened under a Republican administration, a Donald Trump administration, they would be calling for FEMA to be dismantled right now. The leadership would be gone. Gone. And you know what? Somebody needs to be fired up top. This happened under the director's supervision. Just like the Secret Service, under that director's supervision, Donald Trump was almost assassinated twice. And nobody gets fired in this Biden administration. I don't care if he has 70 days left. This person needs to be fired. A precedent needs to be set now. This cannot happen. It cannot happen regardless who's in office. Cannot happen. So let's look at a Breitbart article that I have, and we'll do a little reading up on this. FEMA says it has fired employee who directed disaster crew to ignore homes with Trump signs. It's disgusting. It's hard to believe, but it's not hard to believe at the same time under this administration and the things that we've seen happen. This is by Christina Wong. Biden-Harris Federal Emergency Management Agency, Deanne, Biden-Harris Federal Emergency Agency, Deanne Criswell. I'm thinking agency head. I think that's bad writing. Announced Saturday a federal disaster relief official who advised her survivor assistance team to ignore homes displaying Trump signs in Lake Placid, Florida, following Hurricane Milton has been fired. Criswell said in a post on X, more than 22,000 FEMA employees every day adhere to FEMA's core values and are dedicated to helping people before, during, and after disasters, often sacrificing their time with their own families to help disaster survivors. Okay, well, first of all, they're getting paid. Oh, I don't want to hear about sacrificing. Yes, but that's what you signed up for. Okay, that's what you signed up for. You signed up to go into these situations. And yes, when you do that, you will be sacrificing time with your family. That's something you go into that job with eyes wide open. Anyway, recently, a FEMA employee departed from these values to advise her survivor assistance team to not go to homes with yard signs supporting President-elect Trump. This is a clear violation of FEMA's core values and principles to help people regardless of their political affiliation. This was reprehensible. Yeah, beyond reprehensible. You keep adding on to the adjectives of what this was. I want to be clear to all my employees and the American people, this type of behavior and action will not be tolerated at FEMA, and we will hold the people accountable if they violate these standards of conduct. You need to be held accountable. You're in charge. This happened under your watch. You need to be gone, dismissed immediately. We take our mission to help everyone before, during, and after disaster seriously. Well, I should hope so, because that is your core mission, correct? This employee has been terminated, and we have referred the matter to the Office of Special Counsel. I will continue to do everything I can to make sure this never happens again. The first thing you can do is resign. That's the first thing you can ensure that this never happens again, is you can resign. And as I said, this person who was fired needs to be brought up on charges. So we have our tweets there. The firing came shortly after the Daily Wire report. I tell you, the Daily Wire breaks a lot of stories, and I guess this one the media couldn't ignore. Reported that the official, 38-year-old Marnie Washington, had ordered disaster relief workers to bypass homes of Trump supporters as they surveyed damage caused by Hurricane Milton. Washington, who was the disaster survivor assistance crew leader, I wonder how she got that job. Was she qualified? I don't know. Was this a DEI problem? I mean, what's going on? This is the stuff that needs to be found out. This is what we deserve to know. When did how long has this person been in charge? How long has she been at the agency? How did she get this position? I'm not saying she didn't earn it, but I'd like to know. I want to know how she got there now. Now we need to do a deep dive into Marnie Washington. Okay? Just like we do a deep dive into every cop who the media says did something wrong. That's what I want here. Multiple government employees told the Daily Wire that Washington also relayed this message verbally. The employees told the outlet that at least 20 homes with Trump signs or flags were skipped from the end of October and into November, about the same time as the final weeks of the 2024 presidential election. So if they're saying 20 homes, it's probably 100. And who knows if this, I want to know, and also, was this happening in North Carolina? Was this happening in Georgia? Was this happening in Tennessee? I doubt this is a one-off. I'm sorry. I just do. If this happened here, it means they got caught. Nobody gets caught the first time. Reports said it was unclear whether the same guidance was issued elsewhere in the country. Well, you need to find out. And you need to find out now. And if they're saying that, they're unclear. It's not an outright denial that they know it didn't happen. If they're saying it's unclear, they know it happened somewhere. Now they need to find out. And that's why the head of FEMA, this Criswell, needs to go, and somebody impartial needs to be brought in right now and find out. One of the employees told the outlet, I know they're short-staffed. I thought we can go help and make a difference. When we got there, we were told to discriminate against people. It's almost unbelievable to think that somebody in the federal government would think that's okay. The employee added it felt wrong to discriminate against Trump supporters when they were at their most vulnerable. Okay, well, what did you do? Did you follow the order, or did you report it right away? I'd like to know. I volunteered to help disaster victims, not discriminate against them. It didn't matter if people were black, white, Hispanic, for Trump, Harris, everyone deserved the same amount of help. Yes, exactly. Like I was saying before, when I was a police officer, you 911, you never questioned who you were responding to. You just responded and did your job. One of the employees wrote in the whistleblower complaint filed to DHS, if they had damaged or lost power for over 36 hours, it was my duty to inform them of benefits to which they were entitled to through FEMA. The employee added, this behavior raises significant concerns of discrimination against United States citizens because of their political views. These actions not only undermine the integrity of our agency, create a hostile work environment, blah, 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 okay, and threaten the democracy of our country. We're not a democracy. I always say it. Sorry. One employee told the Daily Wire that the guidance was first issued by Washington verbally on October 22nd, about 2 weeks before the election, and then again in the group chat on October 27th, just about a week before the election. So she was doing this for weeks, and she's still in that position. Again, how does this happen? How is she there for weeks telling people this? These whistleblowers are coming out and she's still there. The incompetence that permeates our federal agencies is astounding. And they wonder why the trust has eroded to just basement levels, rightfully so. The guidance to avoid homes with Trump signs or flags was then deleted a few days later. And then by October 30th, she was reportedly walking about the guidance and had denied the homes were being skipped after a meeting with other FEMA administrators. Again, right, other FEMA administrators who she should have been gone, should have been arrested, handcuffed. Washington did not respond to the queries from the Wire. Yeah, I wouldn't either. I'd get a lawyer. Employees told the outlet as of publishing time she had not been punished for the guidance, but had been shifted to another county in Florida. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Disgusting. Washington's guidance came amid criticism over its slow response time to Hurricane Helene hit Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and Tennessee. It took 6 days after the hurricane for federal disaster relief workers to arrive in North Carolina. Right. I did videos very early. If you go to my TikTok, they're on there. At Opinions Vary on TikTok. And very early, I did some videos on this. This is really where I started my journey into being a content creator. And if you go into my TikTok, all the way down at the bottom of my earliest ones, there's a couple there's one on FEMA. Actually, my first video ever I posted is on this. And, it's really just, it's really hard to believe. And I think, and now we're getting more here to really believe this was intentional. This was intentional. This goes deep, and there needs to be the Trump administration needs to do a thorough, deep investigation into all of these agencies. And now FEMA, target one. According to the Daily Wire, it took nearly 2 weeks for FEMA to show up in Roan Mountain, Tennessee, which is located in Carter County, and went 81% for Trump on Tuesday. Yep. All those counties that they knew were red, they were slow rolling themselves there. Highland County, where Washington was the FEMA disaster survivor assistance crew leader, went 70% for Trump on Tuesday. So there you have it. Very upsetting, not surprising. And something needs to be done now, not to wait till January 20th. Something needs to happen now. This cannot ever happen again. The rot within our bureaucracy, within our three-letter agencies, within our alphabet agencies, needs to be dug out and tossed. And it needs to happen now. Like I said, this isn't acceptable in local or federal law enforcement. It certainly isn't acceptable in any public service area. None. That's the core mission. The core mission is help no matter what, no matter who. That's being an American. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you feel as strongly as I do about this? I hope you do. If you don't, let me know why you don't. Let me know why you don't think this is a big deal. Try to be nonpartisan. Because I'm telling you now, I was 25 and a half years. Never once did I ask who somebody voted for when I was helping them. Not once. I never would even think of it. So let me know what you guys think. Please like, share, and subscribe. Continue to follow me at Opinions Vary.